load bans into Fofo anymore. This RA squad is showing that they have got the moves, the players, the caliber to be able to pop off in multiple different roles. And even the likes of Cube up on that top side was doing very, very well into Mikuya, you know, despite being on something that's as passive, if you like, as the Gragas, able to absorb the pressure, didn't give away any advantages. And this is kind of the small little strengths that are coming out for RA into this game.
Once again, they are banning out the blue side, the weak side blind pick champions coming out from Mikuya. That has been his best role. He's a great defensive role player, but probably not as proficient at the offensive side of the coin. I don't think his Camille was anything to write home about. He didn't really find great engages in the previous game, so I like RareAtom here, just forcing Mikuya to play a more aggressive side of the map.
More aggressive side, we see the Aphelios and the Kai'Sa banned away, alongside the Pantheon, the Olaf, the Renekton, and the Gnar, but Leyan has been looking very, very comfortable on the Udyr, and they think that warrants a first pick.
This is super interesting because what LNG are doing is that they're kind of dangling the Samir pick here. If they don't pick it themselves, RareAtom are very, very happy to go into that one. There's a lot of mind games with this pick because Samira was Iboy's best champion in Demacia Cup, and they banned it the entire way through, throughout the entire LPL spring split season. He hasn't been able to play that champion. LNG wanted to test RareAtom, and a lot of times players, when they don't get that pick for the entire split, they actually become less proficient on it. So RareAtom didn't step up to the plate, they didn't lock in the Samira, and now LNG are actually able to walk away with a red side 1-2 punch of Alistar and Samira. You almost never see that in the draft.
Yeah, 1-2 punch straight away. They want to give Light and Iwandy some kind of impact. They want to give someone who can make plays. And Iwandy on this Alistar, we talked about at the top of the show, is something he can make plays on. But on Fofo, he had the pick of the litter. He had no bans thrown at him. He decides to go towards that Azir into that mid lane.
So we are seeing RareAtom go for a more scaling mid lane champion. And this Gragas with the jungle already selected right here, it probably is going to go to Cube as well. So RareAtom are looking like they are playing for more zone control. And what we've seen is that if Samira doesn't get snowballed, her late game teamfighting is actually quite weak. She doesn't really have the range, and her Infernal Trigger actually slows herself. So it becomes very difficult for her to continuously kind of get these kills and get these teamfights going. I think RareAtom are just trying to play the late game against LNG's really aggressive bottom early game.
Yeah, it feels like the early aggression is going to be the port of call. We actually see LNG picking up the Ornn, something that's kind of fallen out of a top priority favor in a lot of the teams around the world. Ornn's still very, very powerful, of course, has a lot of utility to bring to the team, as well as just general stats with those upgraded ornaments. And now we get to see what RA and LNG want to try and focus on. You have the top, jungle, and mid picked it. Well, you could technically Bohong onto the Gragas, but we are pretty much assuming that Fofo will be going onto that. Or sorry, not Fofo, excuse me, Cube. And most likely going to see some bans into the jungle role to try and keep Udyr on top of his game.
Yeah, I think just looking at the drafts right now, RareAtom are setting themselves up potentially for a Senna pick. Senna has been a very strong counter into the Samira. You outrange her, you have that upfront route that really prevents her from dashing onto you, and you can just walk away with the Shroud of the Dark Mist when she tries to pull her Infernal Trigger. So that has been a really strong pick. It has great scaling, it has good range on it as well. The only question in my mind is if the Senna can actually deal enough damage to the Ornn. That's going to be a big question. Senna typically doesn't do that well against just full armor front lines here, so we're going to see if that's going to be the champion selected by Iboy. In the meantime, LNG are looking for a mid-jungle combination right here. Icon has a lot of champions. I do want to see him play something rather aggressive. You know, we think of Icon, we think of champions like Echo, like Leblanc. Those were really his highlight moments. But he's so toned down this split, I'm not sure if he still has it in him to kind of take up this laning challenge and try to play aggressive with his early game.
Well, we just see the Hecarim locked in here for LNG, so they are looking for big, big team fights. Look at these ultimates and the combinations you have together. The Inferno Trigger, the Ornn Horn, the Onslaught of Shadows. Of course, Mikuya going, or not Mikuya, excuse me, Iwandy going in with the Alistar, Headbutt Pulverized combo. if you're able to land on top of someone, they're just in the air forever. There's nowhere for them to go. There's no way for them to react. And that's going to be a big issue for RA. They need to keep themselves safe. Now, the Tristana and the Azir, very, very safe hyper carries towards that late game. And if they do lock in this Aatrox, someone else who becomes a bit of a raid boss towards that mid to late game team fight.
RareAtom are doubling down on the fact that they just want to outscale LNG. Well, oh, this is what I wanted to see from Icon exactly. His LeBlanc is legendary. He had one of the best plays of, I believe, 2019, where he 1v4'd the enemy team on this champion. And I was thinking, what would Icon pick? He's been picking just control mages nonstop this split, but when you have a Samira that needs to snowball, I think you have to match your power spike. You have to go for something that's early, that's aggressive too, and we're finally getting a taste of that old bad boy Icon champion pool.
Getting him on something he's far, far more known for, and something he can make plays with. That is the big, big importance. Now you've got a little bit of a flank to look out for now from the side of RA, but for RA, they've got themselves the Gragas in the support, the Aatrox up on the top side, so a lot of safety in there, a lot of tanky boys, and they're kind of going, again, with this tried and tested for them at least, front-to-back team fight.
LNG are setting themselves up for a very strong front-to-back, like you mentioned, and they also have a super strong bottom side in general. Leblanc should have priority over the lane against the Azir, and the bot lane of Samira and Alistar should force the bot lane of Tristana to play very defensively as well. So what I expect on the map is to see RareAtom kind of play into Cube's lane a little bit more. They do have the priority on the Aatrox versus the Ornn matchup, and they also have a much stronger early game with the Udyr against the Hecarim as well. So I think top side is where RareAtom is going to play around, and for bottom side, it's all LNG.
So talk to me, we are going to jump on the rip, but talk to me about this Hecarim pick, because it's been something that hasn't really seen much prevalence around the world. It's not really been something, despite there being a farming meta and kind of getting to 6 in your first item, why haven't we really been seeing Hecarim pushed up towards the meta?
I think Hecarim is a bit of an awkward champion in that his main use in drafts is as a combo piece. You usually see him paired up with Orianna, but he doesn't really have a great early game. That's kind of the issue that he has. It's that he really wants to wait into the team fight, but he doesn't really have anything to buffer him before that. So you typically see him being left behind, and he also had a really expensive item build. Previously, we usually saw him go for the Triforce. Now it's a bit more Divine Sunder that we've seen Triforce's ADs go down. But, you know, he's just kind of awkward. He's really slow to get going, and he also requires a lot of gold for his build to be complete. So he's just caught in that sort of awkward situation where if he doesn't find a good pick early and kind of snowballs the game from the start, he doesn't really get going at all.
We'll see if he is able to get something going for his team, as he's going to be starting off onto this blue side. There is a ward, so they know exactly where he's going. There's a ward onto the Raptor camp of the RA jungle, so that as soon as the Udyr is there, he should be pretty well found out. Doesn't need a leash for Leyan. He is on the Udyr. You start off with the Tiger stance, then you, generally speaking, will max the Phoenix stance and the Bear stance, and then finally into the Turtle. You leave that Tiger stance a little long, because your role is not to fight. Your role is to be annoying, and your role is to clear jungle as quick as possible.
As an Udyr, you typically do like the least damage on your team. Even supports out damage you most of the time, but it's just so fun. It's like, I don't do damage, but I'm constantly living as a nightmare for the enemy team. Like, they always have to think about me coming in and finishing up skirmishes. What we've seen in the LPL is that Udyr, a lot of times, even if he arrives late to the 2v2, just the strength of the champion allows him to go in for more.
Well, speaking of going in, the level 2 is hit by Iboy and Hong. And that level 2, Tristana, again, seen as a big hyper carry, but is something that can just turn on a dime at level 2. That, you know, rocket jump on the W, excuse me, is just so powerful at that early stage because of the stacking damage you can get on top of it. Explosive shot, that's the word I was looking for. And it's something you have to respect. No summoners burned from Light and Iwandy, but they are being pushed well back into their turret.
This is pretty well done by RareAtom's bottom lane. If you look at their items, they definitely prepared themselves for a very defensive start. But since they saw LNG give their jungler a leash, they knew that they could push the lane early. They didn't wait for the enemy team to come back or any level 1 potential coming out from LNG from the brushes. So they just pushed, got the level 2, and that's really going to take away a lot of time for this Samira to find advantages and to find those snowball kills that she really needs.
Well, we see full clears from both junglers, and both junglers now on top of their respective scuttles, and something that Hecarim has, he's actually got a pretty decent clear time. Like, keeping up with Udyr is no small task, so definitely something to be proud of on there. You can see there just popping in a ward. You can see the ward pretty much identical on the opposite side of the map. So both junglers pretty much just mirroring each other in this early game.
I do want
looking towards the sorry, go for it. You go for it.
I do want to point out the build incoming from Leyan. We typically have been seeing a rush for the Bomby Cinder on Udyr for him to just farm up, but for him going for the early boots of Ionia does signal that it's going to be a more gank-focused early game for the Udyr. It's not something that helps his clear a lot necessarily. The Bomby Cinder is definitely better at that role, but with the boots of Ionia, he should be able to go into teamfights, be able to control the map a lot better. So I want to see how he actually uses this item pickup.
Yep, extra bit of movement speed, of course, very, very valuable alongside your own one. You can see him there. He's just very quick to get himself into different parts of the map, and needs to be a little bit careful that he doesn't get caught out. They are putting down question mark pings, but with that Phoenix stance and the Tiger stance and a smite, he should be able to take out these Raptors very, very quickly without any real delay. And that is a stolen camp, but you can see already in the bot side, they are seeing if they can go for something on Fofo, who is low on mana. Icon is around. He has got the Dark Seals. He was able to pull that one out. Leyan jumps in and realizes there's a prancing pony coming at him, so he has to jump himself out. And Tarzan will just find, unfortunately for him, his chickens have been stolen.
Yeah, it's just hilarious watching this Udyr run across the map. He's already achieving 450 movement speed on his bear stance, just walking around, and he is going to find a bit of a CS advantage, almost 2 camps up now against the Hecarim so far, and he has his full bot lane to clear. So far so good on the side of RareAtom. You know, they're continuing to scale up with the Azir and the Tristana, and they also found a very good timing to go for this Drake. They know the pathing of Tarzan. You can see the pings on the top side. They definitely expect him at Krugs, so they know this Drake is going to be uncontested, and that's huge for RareAtom, because if you look at LNG's bot lane, they should have the advantage there.
Yeah, they do see the Ornhorn coming in. The knockback here, Cube forced to flash. They do not have the onslaught of shadows, as Mikuya does get the knock up. Those sweet spots are landing. Cube needs to be a little bit careful. Do they go for the dive? I don't think they can. Tarzan taken very, very low. They got out just before they got punished, and they do get the summoner out of Cube. So overall, it's still a very, very good play for the side of LNG.
The nerves on Cube to turn back and face that 1v2. He knew his limits perfectly, and he was just willing to trade damage and make sure Tarzan was gonna go home for good. Stands his ground, gets Mikuya and Tarzan down to half HP, and, you know, picks up the minion wave too. So really good response to that 2v1 gank.
Yeah, we can see here Leyan stealing more and more camps, being more of a nuisance, and with the pure kind of information you get, the resources that you're able to find. Because knowledge of where the jungler itself, vision itself, is a resource in League of Legends. If you watched the LEC last night, it was Cadril who brought that up. If you are able to have full knowledge of where the jungler is at all times, that is a huge resource of information that you can use and make advantages around the map for yourself.
You don't have to guess if you can play aggressive or not. You know you can play aggressive. You can abuse your champion windows. The thing that most people don't realize is most pro players know when they have the advantage in lane, but they hold back just because they don't have full information on the jungle. So if you know where the enemy jungle is, it opens up those trading opportunities that you can finally utilize.
Yeah, you'll generally see the pro players pop off in solo queue because it's not as high risk. They can go, you know what, I can go off on this champion right now because I just feel like it. Whereas in pro play, like you just mentioned, it's very much a check to see, look before you leap is probably the best way I can put it. But now looking at the state of the map. You can see half items being picked up. We're almost at the Triforce here for Tarzan. He's not farming terribly, but again, against the new deer, it's very difficult to keep up to that big bear man. He's already got a level lead above him as well. So Leyan doing very well at just making sure that these global objectives will very much be in his favor going forward, unless Tarzan can start making things happen around the map.
I feel like this is very much a Tarzan champion. The way he plays is very farm oriented. He's not really a fast tempo jungler. He doesn't really go for things like the Pantheon. But the problem with the Hecarim and Leblanc combo is I feel like Leblanc is wasting her best years here. You know, she does have some priority over Fofo, but she isn't able to really find kills. And with Tarzan just, you know, more indexing into the farm, I don't really see this LeBlanc getting off to a good start. So the snowball necessities from LNG not really being taken care of here.
Well, both supports and junglers around this top side. This could be a 3v3. Teleport is not available for either Fofo nor Icon. You can see Cube backing away. They flash in. They get the Onslaught of Shadows. They get the knock up, and he is taken down. Iwandy taking that kill. Good proactive play from LNG. They get themselves first blood.
RA had a lot of guesses around the top side. We saw the question mark pings go down, but they didn't expect it to come so fast. So unfortunately, they do roam everyone here into the top lane. They don't really prevent the play, and it looks like LNG will be able to take 2 turret platings plus the Herald for their troubles.
And they don't lose anything in the bot side either. Now the Herald is being started. You have not got TP on Cube, so he's going to have to walk here. Doesn't have World Ender either. So they start to see one. Iwandy could go for a little bit of a play here. Icon is there. RA, they are trying to posture around it, but I feel like they know they're just at a disadvantage. You can see there on the minimap Cube roaming towards that bot side. They put their Iboy Tristana into the top. They know they can't really go for this, and this is a good proactive play from LNG. They get the kill, they get an objective after the kill, and that's what we always look for in a team.
And RareAtom are left to scramble and try to defend against the Herald drop here. They, like you mentioned, they had the Tristana in the top lane, and we have talked about this in pregame that LNG's bread and butter play is going for that first tower. They love to give first tower gold over to Light, get him accelerated, get him that first mythic, and then just snowball the sieges from there on out. So I like RareAtom, what RareAtom has been doing this entire series. I feel like they've definitely looked at a lot of the videotape of how LNG plays. They always have their bottom lane in position to defend against the potential tower strip.
For Icon, just as I notice here, he's being bullied away. Already 15 CS or so down onto Fofo, who's just kind of pushing him back, constantly making sure that he's kept in check. Not allowed to roam like a LeBlanc wants to. Like you mentioned, that they're wasting their best years in this mid lane because the first item, Power Spike of the Luden's Tempest, is where you want to be, and on top of an AD carry that could be a massive advantage for them. Does lands the Ethereal Chain, but Fofo, he's on the Azir. He can just shuffle himself out of there.
So not really a lot done here in the early game, but I think LNG are moving into a phase where they have a lot of chances to snowball. They do have the teleport advantage for this Drake fight, and they also have the Herald as well. So I think what RareAtom want to do now is they should accept, hey, you know what? The Herald's going to come down. You guys are going to get 320 gold, but we're not giving you any champion kills. You can take the tower plating, but we are not dying. So I expect RareAtom to play super defensive in the next couple of minutes. Just make sure that they continue to keep the snowball out of the picture. Maybe not.
Ooh, speaking of it, Icon gets jumped on and stunned up by Leyan. Has got his flash still available to him. That Phoenix Dance will do a hell of a lot of work. They've got the TP coming in here from Makuya. The Onslaught of Shadows will give Icon a kill. Makuya trying to readjust as quick as he can to get the knock up onto Fofo. Will not land the Orin Horn. And now just pushing in the wave. They do lose a couple of summoners, but they gain a kill. So again, small advantages that keep this gold even.
This is the exact opposite of what I cautioned RareAtom to do. I wanted them to sit back and just, you know, don't play too aggressive right here. Don't give any kills over to LeBlanc. They're the aggressors in that play. Tarzan was still around the map. Makuya had the teleport advantage. And if I'm LNG, I'm very, very much pleased with what's happening right there. I get summoners, actually don't get that many summoners, but I do get the kill finally onto Icon, and I do get him on the board a little bit closer to that Luden's Tempest, like you were mentioning. Now just looking at the fight again, Fofo doesn't have to expend his flash right here. They do get the summoner advantage from both Tarzan and Icon, I believe, in this fight, as the Azir does go in with quite a bit of damage here. But at the end of the day, I still feel like LNG are pretty happy with that play. They do find that 300 gold onto Icon.
Yeah, honestly, you take that win there, you take that little bit of an advantage, and I actually liked the TP, not because he got anything from it. Yes, it was just very much kind of, I'm here now. It made Fofo double guess. It made Fofo kind of think twice about whether or not he wanted to go on to two very, very low, health targets in Tarzan and Icon, which meant they were able to secure the kill, and they didn't lose that much up on the top side. So, Icon now pushing it onto Fofo and just chunks it down to half HP, and this is where the LeBlanc starts to feel a little bit unfair. This is where the LeBlanc starts to feel like not really something I want to be dealing with in this lane, as 2 plates are given over to Light in that bot side as they give him a dry held. Ooh, nice cheeky move there from Fofo.
Going forward instead of backwards and dodging out on the Mimic Distort coming in from Icon. Yeah, keeps himself alive here. And in the top side, we do see Cube, like we were talking about. Aatrox does usually have the priority in this lane, able to sneak away parts of Tarzan's jungle. Once again, Tarzan's pathing this game has been figured out very, very well by RareAtom.
Yeah, they've had full knowledge of where he's been at all times, which has led to a couple of camps being taken away from, which has actually led to a 40 CS lead for Leyan. Only a 1 level lead, as he does have those 2 little kills, assists even for Tarzan, so it's keeping him in touch. This is where you mentioned it at the start of it. I asked you about the Hecarim. Why do we feel like he hasn't really kind of found himself into this meta? He just feels a little awkward right now, and this is kind of it. He needs to get those kills, and yes, he's gotten 2, but just with how far behind he is, it feels like he should be getting more. And curious actually to know your opinion. You've gone with the Divine Sunderer over something like the Triforce into the Hecarim.
This is much more common in LPL Hecarims. The item is a little bit cheaper, and now with the change to Triforce giving less AD, you definitely feel a lot better with the Divine Sunderer empowered auto attacks rather than the the Triforce that is much more of a bruiser and auto attack stacking champion. Triforce is probably a little bit better for things like Jax, but it's a lot worse for mainly AD scaling champions that used to want to build it.
Divine Sunderer finished up. Some deep vision in the top side for LNG. And a minute until that Ocean Drake spawns. Both teams at 1 apiece. We'll see if they want to try and fight over. Gold is pretty much dead even. Mythic's pretty much finished across the board. Sorry, support's not on that salary. But, Immortal Shield Bow, the Kraken Slayer for Light and Iboy respectively. You've got the Sunfire Aegis and the Gore Drinker for the Ornn and Aatrox as well. But with all the top lane deep vision, they have got themselves full knowledge of where the Hecarim is not. And that means he is not on top side, which is a free Rift Herald.
I still think that LNG, despite their gold disadvantage and the fact that Leyan does have a Herald right here, they are still at the strong point, their strong point on the map. They have champions that at this phase of the game with 1 Mythics, they function a lot better than RareAtom, where their champions really function more around those 2 and 3 item marks. So I think LMG should definitely try and just go hard on this one, try to get RareAtom into a fight. And, I think if RareAtom take this, they have to be very careful because this is a massive snowball point for the likes of Light and Icon.
Yeah, the dragon is secured. Icon goes in onto Hong. Jumps back. Leyan just running at them at the moment, try to slow them down, keep them interested, but they were not able to get a secure position for Cube to teleport. You can see him on his minimap. He roamed down through the enemy jungle to try and get his teleport advantage in his favor. But alright, we're not able to find any purchase on that. They drop the Rift Herald into the mid lane instead after losing the dragon. And they're going to try and take this tower as low as they possibly can.
I think both sides got what they wanted out of that one. They do pull LNG out of position a little bit. They get a couple of uncontested waves on the top side for Q, and they also drop this Herald. So, I think both sides got exactly what they wanted. RareAtom a little bit more of the minion gold, while LNG did get that Drake for their troubles. It's still the point about just securing the just securing the snowball, especially for this Leblanc. You know, we have seen this matchup. It's not a purely scaling game on the side of Azir. When the LeBlanc does get her 2 items, a lot of the times she can just trade half your HP on the Azir without getting touched at all. So there does come a phase where I feel like Azir is going to have to play super defensively into this matchup and give LeBlanc's time to shine.
I'm looking at RA as well, just as the CS differentials they've picked up. They're pretty much winning in every single lane. They are winning in, not even pretty much, they are winning in every single lane. They've got 20 in the top side, they've got 40 in the jungle, they've got 20 in the mid lane, they've got 10 to 15 in the bot lane. This is why the gold has been so close, because they are even just in their favor, despite the kills going over in favor of LNG. The fact that they're able to make up those numbers of kills in, or just in gold from the CS, just shows you how well they've been playing these matchups and not just bleeding out objective after objective. They're gaining stuff as well.
I think the most important thing about RareAtom's CS lead is that they never entertained the team fight. They just don't want to let LNG snowball, so they left the Herald 5v5, they left the Drake 5v5, and they only looked for exit kills. They didn't try to go into and run and contest LNG when they were at their strong point. So that's something that we don't see from a lot of LPL teams, but you can definitely slow the game pace down by doing this and just picking up farm.
Curious to see what the Gragas will be building, as he has picked up the I can't remember the name of it, the mirror. I can't remember the name of it now. It's the one that builds into the, yeah, Bando Glass Mirror. Thank you so much. I'm curious to see how they will build towards that as we go into the game. Definitely seeing a little bit more healing from Hong than maybe a tanky boy. He's looking for kind of his explosive cast and his belly bop and then trying to get out as quick as possible.
The change on Shirelia's battle song has been that you actually gain AP now for the item. They want to differentiate it from the Turbo Chem tank. So most of our Gragases in the LPL have been actually going for that. It just gives you that burst of 60% movement speed. You actually have very good ratios on your Q and R early on, so it just helps you get around that map and find picks onto the enemy team. I do expect that item to be the mythic.
No, I have been educated. That's the beauty of having a color caster beside me, because I can ask these questions and you will tell me very quickly why I'm being an idiot. But again, looking down the middle, you can see there Mythics being picked up. We're looking at a Phantom Dancer here for Iboy on the Tristana, looking to try and just keep his crit going, getting him to 3 items, 4 items. That's where the Tristana really does shine, getting those resets with the rocket jump as well. And we're probably not going to see anything for another minute as I say that. As soon as I say that, Cube gets jumped on. They do land the Ethereal Chain and get the World Ender and the TP out of Fofo. Tarzan may have to use his Onslaught of Shadows defensively, but with the rest of LNG roaming down, they do not feel like they can go for it. They gain a TP. They don't really lose anything apart from this mid lane. They're going to be able to set themselves up for this dragon fight, but it's not quite just over yet. Leyan trying to run away, gets knocked up. Flash in the explosive cast just to try and keep him alive. They will knock him up again, but he's just a tanky boy. Very difficult for an Ornn to take him down. While this is all happening, you can see Tristana, Iboy in the top side just pushing and pushing and pushing, being as a nuisance as possible. Light's recall has been stopped as well. You can almost imagine that Light is just about on his second item. He needs that before this fight.
The man bear pig reigns supreme. RareAtom get 2 towers and LNG get nothing. They try to go for the bot lane a 2v1 against Cube, but I'll be honest, I don't even think Cube would have died. Even if Fofo didn't go down there. I was watching Cube's HP, and he didn't even pop the Gore Drinker. He was just standing there, and he was like close to full health. So I feel like this is LNG getting desperate and still not getting rewarded for any of their plays.
Yeah, it felt a little bit overzealous for them on the bot side, a little bit overzealous in the mid lane as well, which means they didn't have the flash, they didn't have onto Iwandy, they weren't able to get Light to reset to pick up his collector, which you can see he's just finished up now. They will pick up this top lane turret, so they're getting that to keep the gold as even as possible, but now with the Drakes at 2 apiece, it's not really feasible to kind of look towards that win condition of a soul into an Elder Drake, because it's so far away.
Yeah, they don't really have the tools to force RareAtom to actually go into a team fight against them. So let's say if LNG wanted to play around this this LeBlanc, they set up blind spots on the map around this Drake. What RareAtom could do at this point is just completely ignore the dragon. They should say, okay, we'll go to the other side of the map, and LNG won't have an ability to snowball off of that. So the cards are really in RareAtom's field right now. And yes, thank you very much. And, you know, LNG don't really even have a split pushing option either, so they can't really control the map as well as RareAtom can.
Well, RareAtom testing their limits there, seeing if they could go for a two-man Baron, and just showing to LNG they didn't really lose any HP off that, as Leyan was just so tanky, and they just able to put down such consistent DPS with Fofo, with the Liandry's Anguish, and of course the Banshee's Veil. He is, once he finishes up that Nashor's Tooth, a massive threat for just completely obliterating that objective. The reason why we say that someone like Azir is such a late game kind of carry is his soldiers just create such a great way of burning down objectives. Things like the Baron, things like the Drake, they are just gone in 2 seconds if you do not respect that. And for such a low kill game, it's still a 2,000 gold lead here in favor of RareAtom as they look to try and just make something happen for them around the map. They're fine just kind of waiting for this one to kind of fall into their lap.
I think this is the point where it really does come down to whether or not Icon can find Iboy in the back of a team fight. Right now, we already have Fofo on the Banshees. He's going to be very difficult to tan down, but they do find Leyan.
Leyan has been brought down to about a third HP. Onslaught of Shadows just bring him down just about, and Light collects him. Now we have Cube. Did use the TP to get him into position, but with the jungler dead, can LNG make anything else happen?
Super weird position from Leyan. I actually, when the camera panned over, he was already in the enemy jungle. He was up above the ramp for some reason. So I hope that we get a replay of that one, how Leyan actually got caught out there. But great find for LNG. They get another kill onto their important carries. And, you know, having the summoners away from Hong and from Leyan is going to help them find those picks later on.
We can see the Blood Ward, the upgraded Immortal Shield Bow for the Samira. Light able to get that one there. This is where the extra little bit of gold efficiency you get from the ore, and he's able to pick up these levels. He's level 14 now, should be level 15 very, very soon. And once he's able to get those upgrades going for your team, that's where they give those extra little bit, especially in something that we don't really talk about that much, is supports generally only pick up one item, and it's their mythic. So if you're able to upgrade that, you're just giving them a much better stat on that particular item. So I do like that sometimes. It feels a little bit nicer for supports who right now, on their particular salaries, just can't afford anything else.
We have been seeing most of the players in the game only get 3 items. Like, actually, most of the time it's like 3 items, you don't get 4 items, and a lot of games actually end at 2.5 items. So, getting maximum efficiency is incredibly important right now, and you know, LNG are going to try this again, round 2.
Yeah, they're gonna go for Cube, but this time they have set up the CC a lot better, seeing if they can get Cube's flash out of him. But the Baron's been taken down. LNG have committed 2 people to here. They have got the Icon very, very low. Baron goes down. That's just a straight up objective for RA, and Cube should be able to get himself out. Why are we looking at this fight? We should be looking at the top side. They take it, and they lost the Hecarim. Oh, LNG, why are you overforcing that?
They don't really have an option at this point. I still wish that they would try to play their fronted back. I mean, Ornn and Alistar is still a great front line, and maybe you could find some poke, but this is the low percentage play. It was very, very close to failing the first time they tried Icon and Mikuya against Cube. And for the second time, I still felt like Cube did a very good job. His stat line might not show it, but his defensive play has been the MVP this game.
And let's have a look at what happens here. The explosive cast lands, goes knock Tarzan away. He goes in with the Onslaught of Shadows. He's just too late. And now he's dead to rights. He's no way of getting out.
Yeah, he's running the ghost, so can't get over the wall. Goes down onto that one. And RareAtom are walking into this fight with a very, very strong advantage at this point. However, Cube is so far away that I'm not sure if they want to engage.
That was very close to resetting there. Leyan running in with the chem tag, trying to get as much damage down onto Makuya, who's just being shredded. That is the tankiest member of LNG, and he's gone. Fofo just bringing him down. You can see with the 3 items now onto this Azir, just becomes impossible for you to stand and fight. The Baron buff's still ticking for another minute and a half. They've now put themselves onto soul point for LNG. But RA, without that big engage coming out from the Ornn, it's going to be very easy for them to just siege up on these towers.
RareAtom are playing so damn confident. They actually took a 4v5 there. LNG didn't know when Cube was actually going to arrive on the scene. They just leave their top laner to die, and now it's in dire straits for them to finally find that pick onto Icon. We need to see if Icon can find a chain onto Iboy this game. I'm not asking for much, but just I need to see Icon at least find one chain.
He needs to just find, as you said, a primary carry. The Banshee's Veil makes that very difficult to land it on the Fofo. So your only real target is Iboy. You have to find out the Tristana, but with the rocket jump, it's such a I suppose a difficult ask. It doesn't sound difficult, but what it is, it's just so hard for him to really get on top of this carry and make any kind of meaningful damage stick.
He is the banana boy, so it should be very, very slippery.
Boy.
Do you know why he's
Straits, the Sultans?
Do you know why they put him in
the banana boy?
suit?
I don't.
Oh,
why do they put him in a banana suit? Educate me, oh great Clement Chu.
I'll be honest, this is probably one of the boringest memes ever, but he's just constantly eating bananas at the base. Mako actually gave him that name. They just call him Banana Boy.
Mako just decided it. Banana Boy.
Banana is a power food, so I respect it.
I am intolerant to bananas. Did you know that?
Oh, me too.
I cannot digest them. They are something that I am not allowed. It's very funny. I quite enjoy the taste of banana flavored things, but I cannot eat bananas.
Well, I hope you still find Iboy cute.
Yeah, well, Iboy is Iboy, and Iboy will be very, very happy with how he's played this game. Just incredibly safe, very tempered game. The Banshee's Veil knocked down here for Fofo, but look at this. Makuya being just peppered down so much. The Leandri's Anguish is just so powerful at bringing him down to just about half HP. Now, Baron is off. 2 minutes 30 till the Ocean Soul. That will be LNG's to try and take. Don't know why they're trying to aggress into this top side as much. You just probably give up this tier 2, defend at your inhibitor, because your bot lane is starting to be pushed in.
Yeah, we're seeing LNG having a lot of trouble actually finding in the engage. They're a bunch of short-range champions, and they're going to try the just pick on cube strategy once again. Let's see how long it takes them.
He's just healing for so much. They will take him down. Tarzan will get that, but what do you lose? Your 2 tanky boys can't clear this wave. Your beefy boys are just going to be left there to be turned into the slaughterhouse if you stay around too long. They get themselves, the base has been broken now again in that top side. Mid lane is still streaming in with a couple of minions. They got super minions there as well. 1 minute 45 until that dragon spawns. That is the big objective. Cube will be up. He will have his TP as well. You can see pretty much all the important summoners will be available. That would be the last fight for LNG. They have to try and find something there. If they don't get the dragon, the game's going to go too long, and in my opinion, they're just not going to have a chance in hell of coming back.
I definitely agree with you. They're just so outskilled at this point. They try to go underneath RareAtom's composition. They try to play around this Samira pick. But we have to remind everyone, LNG is actually the slowest team in the LPL. Their game pacing has been at a snail's pace. And this is definitely something that they're not used to. I don't think they have... honestly, I don't think they have the capability to play a high-tempo game. They're much more about macro rotations and being efficient on the map. So I just felt like they didn't try enough things in the early game, especially from Tarzan. I felt like he was constantly just being tracked around in his own jungle, never really found a gank into the lanes that was actually successful, and Leblanc and Samira just never got going this game.
Gonna quickly give you a bit of trivia. What is the Divine Sunderer upgrade called? Do you know?
The Divine Smasher?
No, it is just the Dayside.
I tried.
D-E-I-C-I-D-E.
Is that to kill a god?
And one last... pretty much.
Okay.
One last one. Luden's Tempest. Oh, Iboy! Oh, so close. That's 2 summoners down. That's huge for this dragon fight in 10 seconds. That is actually massive. A massive play from Icon.
Yes, Icon finally finds his target, and LNG are going in on the fight.
Yeah, they had to get Iboy some extra HP. He has got the lifesteal coming in from his Vampiric Scepter. Now the dragon will be started up. You can see Iwandy trying to find himself around the back of this pit. He wants to try and find the flank with Icon, but Cube is wise to their plays. Cube is not allowing that one to happen. Now, dragon has been started. The mid lane is pushing in. Teleports are available, so there could be a backdoor. Here we go. There's the explosive cast. They find out Iwandy, but that is not the target you need. They get the knock up. They get the kill down onto Leyan. There is no more jungler there. Iboy gets jumped on with the onslaught of shadows. Icon is there. He's trying to see if he can get any more of an angle going. Iboy is fearless. Iboy jumps in, and Iboy jumps out, and jumps again. They've got everything. They don't need the dragon. This is what I was talking about. The mid lane is being pushed in by the super minions. They can TP in. Fofo can just play keep away, and RA will take this game. They are able to push this one. No, they're not able to get it just yet. The inhibitor has respawned, and now Iwandy is here. Shut down onto Iboy as this fight has continued. Cube trying his best to take down this inhibitor as quick as he possibly can. Fofo has got TP available, can look to try and join this one. Cube running away, trying to stop Icon from catching him out. If he overcommits to this, Fofo will be there, but they do not get anything else. They could have ended the game. The inhibitor saves it for LNG, but they will lose the Ocean Soul. So now it is 3 apiece as we go later into this game.
That was such a close team fight. You know, Iboy actually bringing it back for them. Icon trying to find an exit kill. Doesn't really get it. We should get a replay of that one, but really, I'll be honest, Iboy take it away, but Iboy give it back. You know, he nearly cost his team the game by burning the double summoners, getting in the team fight, but he brings the entire team fight back by jumping over Icon and still finding his targets early. So this is RareAtom being pulled out of position early because Iboy had to lifesteal. They do a really good job of making sure that Icon can't find purchase into this backline, but when things really start to get heated, Icon still finds his way regardless. He's able to go in and just zone Iboy out from this one. Tarzan also does a really good job at the start of this one to keep Iboy under crowd control. That was a very long crowd control duration, and I thought the fight was over here. I thought LNG was gonna be able to mop things up, but no, Iboy goes in, he gets the kill, and then survives another day, jumps back out again. So that really swings things back in favor of RareAtom.
This game is getting to the point where gold leads really don't make any big difference at all. Everyone going towards 5 items, 6 items. That's where they're trying to end this game. You can see Void Staff picked up here for Icon as he picked up a hell of a lot of gold. And actually a hell of a lot of gold, speaking of which, went onto Iwandy. You saw him pick up 750 shutdown onto Iboy. But now the Baron's on. This is being melted. Oh my god, there's nothing he can do. Tarzan doesn't even know it's going down. He has to try and get into the pit, but he's too late. The onslaught of shadows, he was too far away. Now, do you have to go to this fight? I think if you're LNG, you just kind of have to do it. But with the World Ender proc, that raid bros at his cube on this Aatrox, and then Leyan can just run into the enemy team, being as annoying as possible. Iwandy with the Hex Splash, trying to find Iboy, trying to find some purchase. Leyan will die, so it's now a 5v4. The damage dealer is still very healthy, very alive here for RareAtom. They've lost one, but they are still looking like the stronger of the two teams. Big death timers coming in here, but with the Baron buff, they might be able to just end the game.
That was such a critical kill from LNG, able to snipe out Leyan. I believe it was Icon coming over the wall that finished off that play, but that gives them the numbers advantage and definitely the respite that they needed. If they didn't find that one, I'm pretty sure RareAtom would have just walked into their base and started taking down all of their naked inhibitors, but because of that snipe coming in from Icon, they do get to stall out and keep their base intact.
This is a 36.5-minute game, and it is tit for tat. 6,000 gold for RareAtom. But again, like I said, these gold leads mean nothing. There's a lot of standing gold here for LNG. Iwandy is behind Iboy. Very important to know. As Tarzan chunked out, so is Makuya. Icon jumps in. The onslaught of shadows has to be used defensively. But here's Cube. He's onto the backside. The explosive cast is not dropped. They're trying to see if they can catch out Light. Samira goes in, but goes immediately down. The Leblanc is dead. Light will follow. RareAtom hold. They do a tempered game, and they will get a 2-0 against LNG.
Everyone just tries to jump at Iboy. I felt like I was watching a John Wick movie, but, you know, he's able to dodge out all of those bullets. He's able to find the headshots right there. Samira couldn't find him. Icon misses the initial chains, and RareAtom are going to close down on a very strong performance over an LNG team that is ahead of them in the standings.
They will be equal in scoreline, but with this 2-0 win, RareAtom will go ahead of LNG as they both go to 4-3, and what a way to end the year.
RareAtom